Welcome back to another episode of the DNC Reviews podcast. I'm Arjun. As you know, we also have Ronan with us here today. Sadly, Seung cannot make it. You know how it is, second semester junior year. We got places to be, we got things to do. But it's all good. We still move. And today we decided to sort of crawl outside of our little echo chamber, get outside the comfort zone, and review an album that none of us were really interested in until we actually hit play. It is an alternative indie folk fusion Elliott Smith, Paul Simon Had a Little Child type album. It's dark, it's gritty, but it's also really beautiful, and it's just something that is different than all the other stuff that we've been listening to. If that makes any sense. Sorry, I'm being incredibly vague. But yeah, it's Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. An album that dropped in 2020 in the midst of all of the coronavirus craziness, and it's a follow-up to her first LP, full-length LP, which is Stranger in the Alps, which dropped in 2017. I really enjoyed that album, and I didn't know that Punisher dropped until like a few months ago, like back in September, October. But I'm glad it's out. And I'm glad that we actually had a chance to listen to it. It's 41 minutes, 11 tracks. Okay, let's get right into that. So, least favorite tracks, Ronan, go ahead.
All right. Favorite songs, Kyoto, Garden Song. I don't know, I like Chinese Satellite. And Graceland too. Nice little folk tunes, you know. My least favorite might be a little surprising, but DVD Menu is kind of too sad for me. Like, it kind of gets, like, it's kind of scary to me listening to that song. Like, I feel like when I first heard that song, it like sounded like a horror movie or something. And I was just,
you got scared?
I was like, skip this song. I'm gonna start crying or something, man.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite tracks, least favorite tracks were sort of similar. So my favorites are Garden Song, Kyoto. I really, really like I See You. I'll talk about that a little bit later. I really like Graceland 2. I like Halloween. And my least favorite track is either DVD Menu or maybe Moon Song, but I don't really see too many major faults with those songs. Garden Song or Kyoto, compared to the rest of the songs, which are much more laid back and sad and soft, especially Kyoto, it's not even like folk or indie. It's more of like it's creeping into the subgenre of like punk rock and like upbeat indie rock, which is super cool. I really enjoyed that song. But I just want to talk about Garden Song for a little bit. That song kind of ruined me. Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, well, the whole album kind of ruined me. But Garden Song, like Phoebe Bridgers is like a poet, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I said earlier that she reminds me of like Elliott Smith and Paul Simon. I feel like Elliott Smith, like he is the way that he records and mixes his vocals, it's like he's literally like whispering in your ear. He's singing right in your ear. It's a super intimate experience just between the listener and the artist, and Phoebe like perfectly like replicates how you want to do that. And Garden Song, like just the way that she talks about like being with her neighbors and talking about like killing like some Nazi gardener, but she makes it sound so beautiful, and she makes it sound like it's the song's about coming of age. She said like I don't know when you got taller, or like I feel taller, and it's such a basic motif or metaphor for growing old, but just the way that she sings it is just so like you're like, damn, like you're sitting on your balcony, feet hanging down, and you're like, damn.
It kind of evokes the sense of innocence, and it feels childlike in a way, like the way you're just hopping around. Like I can imagine myself in a garden when I'm listening to that song. And,
like you just imagine like kids like playing tag or something like that. It's definitely new. It's definitely something I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that it exists.
Yeah, just another point I just thought of is like the song's called Garden. What was it again?
Garden Song.
Yeah, Garden Song, right? When I used to go to Ireland every summer, and I'll like hang out at my grandpa's house, right? And like there's always a garden, and it's like at the house, and I'm always okay. So I'm allowed to play in the garden, but like every kid would want to do, they want to go further. They want to go outside of the fences of the garden and explore into the abyss, right? It's like how when you're a child, you got this fence around you, like the garden. That's like where the adults set you into that garden and like kind of make you stay in that place. But then it's like once you try to get out of that garden of innocence, like the fences, then you kind of begin to lose yourself.
Yeah, like it's definitely a song about transition.
Yeah.
And especially coming off of her last album, which is mainly like a reflection of her own mental health, you go into this album and she immediately starts by not talking about what's going on in the present, but by what's going on in the past. And if we move on to the next song, which is another one of our favorites, Kyoto, which Ronan, I hope you have, I don't know if you do, a personal connection to that song, but yeah, I really like Kyoto, and I quickly picked up on the fact that this song is probably about her dad. And one of the lyrics was, which is actually like the chorus, which is, "I'm gonna kill you if you don't beat me to it." And after doing a little bit of some further research, you learn that her relationship with her dad is just not it. Off and on, calling nonstop to no communication at all, visiting each other to no visits, months between visits. It's a relationship that's sort of like on a tightrope right now. And this song, or that line especially, talks about how she's gonna literally kill her dad if her dad doesn't kill himself first. And there's just like, it sounds sort of silly when you say it out loud, but it just makes you think about how like she cares about her dad, because obviously she doesn't want him to kill himself, but at the same time she's gonna kill him if he continues to treat her and her mother and the rest of her family the way that he has with his absence. And it just makes you wonder, like, it's just sort of a deep dive into her mind and the way that, of how she thinks about her dad. Thankfully, I can't relate to having like a bad relationship with like my parents or something like that, but the way that she's describing it into such, not like layman's terms, but she's making it so easy to understand and dive into her headspace. I do feel some sort of attachment to that song and to the themes expressed, and it just makes me feel like cozy and comfortable.
I don't know. Do you see the music video for it? Yeah, just like the cheesy edits.
The skeleton onesie is so sick. It's so sick.
And the cheap green screen and all that. I don't know. For me, it reminds me of like, I don't know, like teenage rebel behavior. And it's like, because like the entire video and the sounds like kind of 90s. I don't know, like kind of. It reminds me of the 90s for some reason. I think she was a teenager at the time. So it makes sense that like that's the kind of music she chose, and as you said about her bad relations with her dad, and I think it definitely works, and I really like the song. And from my research, it was something like where she thought of making the song after she came back to her hometown from touring Japan, and like she missed Japan so much. And yeah,
the last like major highlight that I wanted to point out was the song "I See You." I feel like it's not a lot of people's favorites, but it's one of my favorites, more specifically because of one line where she says, "I used to light you up, now I can't even get to you. Now I can't even get you to play the drums because I don't know what I want until I F it up." And those last two lines, like, I don't know what I want until I F it up. When that line came on, and I was already like down, I was so out of it. And then that line came on along with "I See You," which is musically and sonically another really great song. Just ruined me.
When I first heard this album, and because I'd never heard of her before, I thought she was a Billie Eilish knockoff. Let me say this: she's not a Billie Eilish knockoff. She's not. She's not been kind of brainwashed. Billie Eilish, I think, has been a little brainwashed by pop media because how popular she has become. So she's kind of, I feel like there's certain restrictions to her music now, whereas Phoebe Bridgers, still kind of underground, I think. So yeah, and I would say her lyrical ability and the way she experiments with the sound is much more diverse compared to Billie Eilish.
I definitely agree with what you said. Like Billie Eilish probably has like a million EQs and de-essers on her voice, like where you can't even hear any breaths or anything. It's just like a perfect like audio recording. Sounds super automated. But then with Phoebe Bridgers, it literally sounds like she's giving a live performance, and you just have like a microphone.
Yeah,
it's one of the aspects of her music that makes it sound super authentic. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't come into this review thinking I would enjoy this album a whole lot, especially since like it's so far from the music that I actually listen to personally. But I playlisted every single one of these songs.
Damn.
So every single one, even Moon Song.
Whoa.
Even Moon Song.
On what? A different playlist or all the same?
Like, all spread around.
Dang.
Which is like crazy.
Yeah.
Like Phoebe Bridgers did something. She had an idea. We always talk about execution. We always talk about concept albums. She pulled it off.
I need you to guide me. Like, when would you listen to this song? That's what I'm kind of puzzled at right now. It's like, in terms of musical review, okay, I'll listen to them so I can give my opinions. But it's like, when would I choose this song? Give me, like, for example, give me one song and like when you would listen to it, kind of thing. You know?
All right, Kyoto, On the Way to School.
Okay.
All right, Garden Song, Coming Out of the Shower.
No, for me, Garden Song is like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Why did I just wake up? Yeah. I should go back to sleep, but I'm gonna still play it. Kind of song.
Oh, I see that too. Then you got like I See You, Taking a Walk.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking for like some of these songs, like Chinese Satellite, I might play it like, you know, because you could see in the album cover as well. It's like a little campfire, looking at the stars. Just, you know, it's like you got the voice, you got the natural voice. It's like she's there, you know, at the campfire, and it's like she's singing right there. So that's when I would play some of her songs. Like,
yeah, I think that bottom line is if you're sad, just hit shuffle. But let's get to scoring. Ronan, how do you feel?
All right, great album. Pretty underground. Pretty new, something different, something new I've tried. But I'm still kind of not sure when I would listen to the song. And that's getting to me right now. So
we just came up with so many places.
Yeah, but I don't know. Okay, Kyoto I can agree with. The others, I'm a maybe. I'm gonna still think about it. But I got 7. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
It's a good rating. Yeah, it's positive rating. Yeah, for me. Oh wait, we should give Hosung's rating. Hosung gave it a 6.5 out of 10. And he said his favorite tracks were, did he say Garden Song?
I think he said Punisher.
No, he said his favorite was DVD Menu and Punisher.
DVD Menu? Yo.
I mean, I really wish he was here to explain that. But maybe he'll like put something in post production.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I really love this album. I loved it. I said before, this is the album that would sort of decide whether I was a Phoebe Bridgers fan or not, and I am 100% a Phoebe Bridgers fan after this album. It's amazing. Her vocals, beautiful. Like not like maybe beautiful. I say that too much. They're very pretty vocals. Making it 11 tracks, making it 40 minutes, making everything work. Transitions, instrumentals. The writing though, the writing really takes the cake for me. I think that if you're thinking about writing poetry, or if you're thinking about writing songs, study Phoebe Bridgers. She did a really amazing job, and I can't wait to see what she drops next. I'm gonna dive deeper into her discography.
A solid performance on her second album, which is one of the most important albums, because like you have your hit album right first, now you got to carry on with the second one.
They say that the second album is the most important,
Yeah.
especially coming off of a banger like
Yeah.
Stranger in the Alps.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. DNC, we're everywhere. We are everywhere. Yeah, please tell your friends, subscribe. Like we're just trying to we're literally just a glorified book club.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Local
day.
book club meets in every Sunday, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, but it's like a bunch of like you know how like yeah, we're super traditional. Um, but yeah, tell your friends, give us some more album recommendations. If you like the album, tell us. If you hated the album, tell us. If you have a different rating, tell us. Comment down below. We'll see you next week, but that has been it. Phoebe Bridgers, Punisher, alternative indie folk, post punk. I don't want to say psychedelic, but kind of dips in there. Punisher, Phoebe Bridgers 2020 release. The review is now over. Thank you and goodbye. Gosh.